Abbott and Costello were a comedy duo that became one of the most popular entertainers of the mid-20th century. They were known for their witty humor and slapstick comedy routines that captivated audiences across the United States and around the world. However, despite their success, the duo faced several challenges that eventually led to their downfall. Early years. Bud Abbott and Lou Costello both began their careers in show business separately. Abbott worked as a straight man in burlesque shows, while Costello was a comedian performing in small-time vaudeville shows. They both started performing together in the early 1930s, and their first significant break came when they landed a gig at the Elting Theater in New York City. Their performance was a success, and they soon began performing on the vaudeville circuit, opening for acts such as Harry Richman and Ted Lewis. Radio and film. Abbott and Costello's career took off in the late 1930s when they were invited to perform on the popular radio program, The Kate Smith Hour. Their chemistry and humor quickly won over audiences, and they were soon offered their own radio show, The Abbott and Costello Show. The show was a hit, and it led to several movie deals, starting with their first film, One Night in the Tropics, in 1940. Over the next decade, Abbott and Costello starred in over 30 films, including several box office hits such as Buck Privates, Hold That Ghost, and Who's on First. Their popularity continued to grow, and they became one of the most recognizable comedy duos in the world. Challenges. Despite their success, Abbott and Costello faced several challenges throughout their career. One of the most significant challenges was financial mismanagement. The duo had signed a contract with Universal Pictures, which allowed the studio to take a large percentage of their earnings. As a result, Abbott and Costello were left with little money, despite their box office success. Another challenge was the changing entertainment landscape. By the mid-1950s, television had become the dominant form of entertainment, and movie theaters were struggling to attract audiences. Abbott and Costello's films, which had once been box office hits, were no longer performing as well, and the duo was struggling to find work. Personal problems. Abbott and Costello also faced personal problems that contributed to their decline. Costello's health began to deteriorate in the late 1940s, and he suffered several heart attacks. This affected his ability to perform, and he became increasingly reliant on drugs and alcohol to manage his pain. Abbott, on the other hand, struggled with alcoholism and was known to be difficult to work with. He frequently clashed with studio executives and was involved in several lawsuits over the years. Final years. Despite their challenges, Abbott and Costello continued to perform together until the mid-1950s. Their final film, Dance With Me, Henry, was released in 1956, and the duo performed their last live show in 1957. After their partnership ended, Abbott and Costello pursued separate careers. Abbott continued to perform in theater and television, while Costello made several solo appearances on television and in movies. However, their careers never regained the level of success they had enjoyed as a duo. Conclusion. Abbott and Costello were one of the most successful comedy duos of the mid-20th century. They rose to fame through their witty humor and slapstick comedy routines that captivated audiences around the world. However, despite their success, Abbott and Costello faced several challenges throughout their career, including financial mismanagement, changing entertainment landscape, and personal problems. These challenges eventually led to their decline, and the duo struggled to find work in the late 1950s. Nevertheless, Abbott and Costello's legacy lives on. Their humor and comedy routines continue to entertain audiences today, and they remain a beloved part of American entertainment history. While their partnership may have ended, their impact on the world of comedy will be felt for generations to come.